Hello
Which
all, welcome to my channel Forensic Science by Dr. Bhupesh, and today again we have Miss Ishara from USA, and this is the most awaited video. You all have been waiting, you all have been asking in your messages and everything. I hope all of you and your families are doing well, going well in this pandemic period. And yes, we need to do this video because there are certain revelations. Though I have already made a video on Steve Pinto's hashtag, but right now we are going to listen it from Miss Ishara from the criminologist perspective, and I am assured I'm sure here that you are going to take away so many things from this video. And thank you very much, Miss Ishara, for joining me back again on a special request in this pandemic time. I think your family and USA is doing very well as well in this time. I don't know the situation there, and
uh
we are hoping that God will be very graceful and very great to for this situation.
yes, definitely. Thank you, Dr. Bhupesh, and good evening to all the viewers. Hello to everybody around the world. I hope you are all keeping well since the last time we all met. And please do take the precautions necessary for COVID and stay away from crowded places. And I hope today, on a lighter note, we can do something, just to relax and just decode some of Steve Pinto's posts. Please feel free to participate. I know a lot of YouTube channels have already done these. So this is our take on it. And we hope that we can, make some breakthroughs. So we're going to start with Parveen Babi's post by Steve
Post.
Pinto.
I will try to add this to the. We are going this way. Okay. Okay. So we can start from this post. I think we guess we can start, Miss Ishara, because this is the first post.
Okay.
No, is it
Uh,
post? Then I will show you something else. If this post is very much clear. Okay, Miss Ishara. So what about this post?
Okay, as we start with Parveen Babi, as you can see, he starts all his posts with a heading. Like this one starts with hashtag Parveen Babi. Okay, so that means he's talking about this particular person in his hashtags. So it's pretty much easy, but there are just some things that we can add to. He says model, actress, highest paid, right? In the 80s, I think she was one of the iconic stars of Bollywood, a very famous star. And you know, she had many hit movies. I'm just going here, right? I'm sorry, I have to read from my laptop. Yeah, so she made 8 big movies with Mr. Amitabh Bachchan. Now she mentions the 3 movies, Shan, Majboor, and Diwar. Now, if you interpret those words, they mean, let's see, Shan means peaceful or pride, right? In
Yeah.
Punjabi, it
Yeah.
means respected one. In Urdu, it means old or wise. Now, majboor means oppressed, abused, helpless, subservient, mistreated, etc. And diwar means, a wall or an enclosure like a prison. And this
True.
pretty much describes the way Parveen Babi actually ended up towards the latter stages of her life. Supposedly, she was suffering from diabetes and she died from complications of diabetes. Okay, so that would explain Shan, Majboor, and Diwar. Although those are movies, but if you read further into it, as I explained, that's what it indicates, that she was very suppressed. We know at the time she had dated Mr. Amitabh Bachchan, Mahesh Bhatt, Kabir Bedi, and Danny Denzompa. And she had, relationships with all these people. And she
Dear viewers,
actually,
Miss Ishara, I should make a disclaimer here.
yes,
This is again
it's all in the public domain, all this.
it's all in the public domain, and
Yes.
we have taken all these hashtags from the public domains, and there are websites which have publicized already all these things. We are just making our point of view. We are not making any conclusion, any confirmation about anything. And you are very well smart as well. And as far we move ahead into this, so please take care of certain things while putting up the questions. Yes, Ms. Ishara.
Yes. And we will not disclose everything because certain things are under investigation right now. So some things we will not be able to discuss. We don't want to jeopardize any of the investigations that are going on right now.
True.
So moving on, as I said, she had relationships with these particular people. And then she had passed away alone in Juhu. Organ failure was stated as the cause of her death. And then Steve goes on to say Nepal, diabetes, LOL. So he's indicating that it's a laugh, it's not true that she did not die from organ failure.
Yep.
Okay. Then she says in between organ failure, he says, sorry, in between organ failure and diabetes, you have Nepal. Now we know that Nepal is an organ trafficking area. So is he suggesting that perhaps her organs were trafficked, or she knows more about organ trafficking? The only time that I recall that she went to Nepal was back in 1983 when she was making a movie there with Big B, and so I'm not sure whether he's indicating that she knew about human trafficking and organ trafficking. Now, remember, Nepal is surrounded by Pakistan, China, and India.
Bangladesh.
So these are all trafficking points. Now,
A possible the possible trafficking points. Yes, right
for
now.
organ trafficking, yes.
Yeah.
India, Nepal, China, and Brazil are the popular countries for organ trafficking. So maybe that's the link that he's trying to indicate there. And then he says, well, LOL, which means he doesn't believe that she died of organ trafficking. I mean,
None of
diabetes
us believe,
complications.
even
Yeah,
none of us. The way,
yeah.
yeah,
So her death was very suspicious.
yeah.
And we know that she also had relations with Mahesh Bhatt, which is also in the public domain. So he goes further to say that depressing Bollywood powerful secrets mystery. So we know Bollywood is full of conspiracy theories or mysteries, mysterious deaths, etc., and hers was one of it. So he goes on to say, "Wo lam hai," right? Instead of saying lam hai, he says lame. Now everything is very precise in his post. So the spelling of vo lam hai should read Lamhe, but he instead puts lame. And we know that Parveen Babi ended up in a
She was
wheelchair.
lame.
She was very housebound, right? So that
Yep.
divar and all that, meaning that she's in a prison. She was, abused. She was lonely. She was imprisoned. She never left her home. And we know that, the story of her so-called depression, schizophrenia, etc., was put out there. We don't know who made that story up or whether it was actually diagnosed. We don't know that for sure. So, you have to wonder about that. And Volam here was also a movie by Mr.
Mahesh
Bhatt.
Bhatt. Yeah.
Yes. And that was a story, his, I think, autobiography. And hers was a movie called Art about her. And so moving on from there, yeah, he speaks of the depression theory in Bollywood, where in fact there are deep, dark secrets, right? Um, Now, remember this movie, Volam Hai? It starred Kangana Ranaut and Shiny Ahuja. And that there were allegations made against Mr. Ahuja about rape. Um, and, it goes on, and you know who made that movie. So in that movie, she is portrayed as somebody being mentally unstable. And Mohit Suri is his nephew, Mr. Bhatt's nephew. He made that movie. And that movie went viral. So that's best film, cinema, Bollywood viral. Then we come to weight loss journey. Now in Bollywood, the only weight loss journey, we know that Parveen Babi actually gained a lot of weight towards the end of her life. So he's not referring to her. So this weight loss journey speaks, I think it speaks about Arjun Kapoor. He had a massive weight loss journey that was well documented. Okay.
So
And he's an S boss quite, which are in other posts as well. So he goes on to say journalists, obviously there were journalists all over these stories. And then we come to Junagadh City. Junagadh City. That was where Parveen Babi was from. Now she was born a Muslim, but she converted to Christianity at some point in her life. And she was not actually buried according to her Christian rites. She was actually buried according to Muslim rites because there were some family issues around that, right? And Junagadh city is where she also kept her will. Her will was kept in a bank there. Okay, so we move on to that. And property, all her property, 80% of her property was given to the Babi clan. Actually, Parveen Babi, the name Babi is a clan name. She came from royalty, actually. And that money was given to women and children in the Babi clan to help the poor. So she was very much a philanthropist. She did a lot for charity. She was well educated. She had a master's degree in uh, English literature. So the theory about her being depressed and crazy and all these things, I don't think they ring true. Okay. She was very knowledgeable. She was at the top of her career when things started to go wrong. She excelled in photography, art writing, interior designing, and was pro human rights. So she,
all the intelligent people, like even Sushant,
like
was
Shushan, exactly. So how do
very
these people
intelligent.
end
Yeah,
up depressed and committing suicide? You know,
yeah.
I mean,
This is
she was found dead in her flat after 3 days. Why is it that nobody checked on her within
yes,
those 3 days? Was it by
yeah.
design that nobody checked on her? Was she being medicated as we know with Shoshan? Is that the implications by Steve Pinto in this post?
Because we are all, we still remember. I'll not take the name because one person, one so-called uncle, have said to Miss Chakravarti that Sushant is going to become Parveen Bobby. He will be
Yes,
Parveen Bobby soon, and that we all know
exactly.
that how it came into one of the chat uh,
Yes.
of Mr. Uncle or the mentor. So this post, if you will see the date, this post has been posted on 21st of June,
Hmm.
which was just after a few days of Sushant. And
Exactly.
just after a few days of Disha, Steve Pinto, started revealing all these things in his hashtags. And we do not know whether Steve Pinto is alive or what happened to him right now. Nobody has seen any dead body, but there are rumors about his death and all those things. So let me go to the next post. Miss Ishara.
No, no. I
Yeah,
just need to
okay.
finish this one.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're looking at her character. Now she was very methodical. She used to file every article. She used to do a lot of research, and it was filed so perfectly, alphabetically, chronologically, right? So that shows a sharp mind, right? There was nothing wrong then. This was after she was confined to her home, and she was still very much sane. And
Yes.
let's see what else I wanted to say about her. As we know, SSR was going down the same path. He was made out to be, affected by mental illness, etc. And we know that people with diabetes can survive for days, even if they don't get their insulin. They can survive. Okay, but for 3 days, you are left there. You've been starving. Sushant was, his stomach contents were nil. Her stomach contents were nil. Um,
Yeah,
and she died of organ failure. We don't know what happened to Sushant, but we know he had no stomach contents. They both went to Cooper Hospital.
yeah, it is another clue that they say most of them, most of the people who have died allegedly with suicide or something, they all
Go to
went to
Cooper
Cooper Hospital
Hospital.
by, yeah. So this
Exactly.
was,
And during her lifetime, when her career started going down and she started being affected by these so called paranoia and delusions and stuff, she was recommended by the old man that you are calling to see somebody called Yuji Krishnamurti, his guru, actually, to supposedly help her cope with her mental problems.
yeah, yeah,
So we don't know what kind of an influence that was on her psyche. And in my opinion, I don't think she was actually crazy or anything. I think she
true.
was made to believe that she was crazy, just as Sushant was made to believe that he had mental problems as well.
Okay, okay, okay. So I'll open it up. The fish picture one. Hmm?
Yeah, the fish picture one. Yeah. Yeah, this is an interesting one. Now remember, we are not going to share everything because we don't want to jeopardize all the investigations. We do know that there are investigations are all around drug trafficking,
So I've opened
human
that one.
smuggling. Okay,
Yes.
so that's the one we're doing. Okay, so Steve Pinto
And dear all,
and
if you will see this website, which is shown here, this picyuki.com, whatever it is, you will find many more things here.
yes,
Okay, and if you can reveal yourself, if you can run your mind through your common senses, you will find out what we are talking about or what we
yes,
do not want to talk about. There is much more things which can hamper the investigation, so we are not going to convey any of those things which may hamper the investigation. Yes, Mrs. Shara, so this is Steve Pinto 37 and this
okay.
hashtag Bombay, hashtag Duck, yeah,
Yeah,
like
it
that.
says Bombay hashtag to duck, right?
Yeah.
So Bombay was, Mumbai was called Bombay before. And ducks. Now, Bombay duck, as we know, some may know that it is a fish. It's also a book that was published by some a lady as well. But this is a lizard type fish, which is well known in the Parsi communities. And we know that Steve Pinto was very close to the Parsi
Parts
communities. He
community. Yes.
mentions them in quite a few of his posts, and it's a cuisine of theirs. And this came like by the people that came from Iran that settled along the coastline. Now the thing is with this is that let's see, this type of fish, what he mentions is what he could be meaning is that this fish actually is dried. Okay, it's dried and then it's cooked in a certain way, but it is now being frozen and packaged and shipped all over, I guess, all over the world. Now we can put two and two together and guess what might be going into those containers that say fish.
Okay.
Okay, and this is very common along the Goa coast. We know there are many investigations happening along the Goa coast. Okay, so dried fish is used to be sent to by the British mail train. Okay, that's why it's called Bombay duck. Okay, there's a word there, duck.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so they used to use the railroad to transport this fish. Okay, so in other words, now what could be being transported in by the
In the
railway,
yeah.
we can all guess what that can be. Okay, we can't spell everything out, you just have to, like, try and imagine what we are talking about. um Now, this Bombay duck is one way to cook the stuff with prawns. They usually stuff prawns inside this fish when they eat it. but I think he's suggesting that he's now stuffed with something else.
Okay.
Okay, possibly drugs, and it is transported via the Kolkata rail. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, dak is also a tree. It's an instrument as well, and it has many medicinal benefits. Its flower also gives off a yellow dye, which is used to make the holy colors. You know, during Holi they use all
Yep.
these. Yeah, it's used to make that, but it's also used in Ayurveda. Okay, and it is also an aphrodisiac. So we know countries like other Asian countries like China and all, they are big in using aphrodisiacs. So this could be, you know, also being sold or transported by the duck trade. So the duck has many medicinal qualities, as I said, and the duck is also the train station in Pakistan, and this is on the river banks of the river Jhelum. Now we know Pinto mentions Gopal Dalvi in one of his posts.
Yes,
So,
it is. It is there.
in my opinion, actually, I think he's just using that name Jhelum because it's not a very common name. I would go with this, that it is a train station in Pakistan. Now you
And
know what comes from Pakistan.
I see here Steve Pinto has been so smartly used that any common, it will not be very easy for any common person, because using the pictures and then using certain hashtag, that only, it's a kind
It's
of
code
encoding.
word. Yeah,
Yeah, it's the kind of
everything is in
encoding what he
code.
has done.
Yeah. So as I said, this Dhak train is a train station in Pakistan, right? And it's on the Jhelum area. And we also know that Jhelum Dowry is associated with NGOs and, you know, clothing the poor people and all these things. So is he
Yeah.
suggesting that maybe children are being trafficked through this Jhelum, you know, area via
Yes,
the
maybe.
train? Okay. So
And then why
Ayurveda.
he says, I wanna die, no use, corrupted world, all these things. Okay.
Okay, let's just go back a little. We also talking about the Kolkata to the mystery.
Yeah.
Hashtag Kolkata train mystery, right? So back in 2013, there were young men were found dead along the rail tracks. This is an article from 2013, which with similar injuries on their heads and chest, and it was between the Dum Dum and Bidhanagar station.
Okay.
Okay,
It's
so that's the mystery there. And there were also many deaths related to this train route. Okay, then there was also a 12-year-old Bangladeshi boy found in a train all by himself, possibly a victim of human trafficking for the purposes of child labor or sexual exploitation. Okay, uh, that was in 2020. So he's indicating all these things. Yeah. So
one thing is
that,
very much clear from this, Ms. Ishara. He was studying all these things, or he was observing all these things from very long. It means
exactly.
it means something he was knowing very clearly, either from Disha or from Shoshant or from somebody from a very long time.
Yes. And
And
this is
when
a first hand experience. So he knows it. He's experienced it. He's seen it. He's observed it by himself. So these are
yes,
coming directly from him.
yes,
He's been there. He's seen it for himself. All his posts are like that. And none of his posts are written in normal language. Everything is a hashtag. So he's a very clever somebody who you know put things out there. I guess not to be tracked because his life is in danger, and I do believe he's still alive though.
Even I do believe the same thing. And
Yeah. I think he's just lying low because things are so dangerous right now. Okay.
okay,
Coming to mackerel fry, do you see that one?
yeah,
Hashtag
mackerel fry.
mackerel fry. I
Yeah,
wanna die. Okay.
yeah,
So mackerel fry, this type of fish is heavily fished for omega-3 oils. Okay, and it is canned in order to export. Now remember, anything that's exported, anything can be put in containers. We know
yes,
trafficking happens in that way. Okay, so maybe drugs are filled in it. We don't know. Um, and mackerel, and it's shipped, which is common way to traffic drugs. So mackerel in old French means marked. Okay, spotted, pump, or procure. So you can put that together.
yeah. Procure is one thing which is very much fitting to the scenario.
Yeah. And pump, we know what pumps do:
Yeah,
prostitution and pumps, procuring of drugs and prostitutes. Right? So those are marked. So you can take it from there and, you know, figure that out. Mackerel is also eaten by Catholics on a Friday, and we know Steve Pinto is Catholic. Hence the saying, you know, Holy Mackerel, which is also used instead of Holy Mary. So Steve Pinto was Catholic, as we know. So there's a double meaning here. And then fry, coming to the word hashtag fry. In an online slang dictionary, it means under the influence of drugs. The word hashtag fry. Okay, so it's drugs like PCP, LSD, shrooms, or drugs laced with other drugs such as crack, weed, or other mixtures. Okay, that's what's called fry.
yeah.
It
Dear
is a
viewers,
slang word.
we commonly use it in forensic science. The word fry is used for the addiction or the abusing of the drugs as well. If you want to study more, you can read on net. Yes, that's very
Yes,
truly said by Mr. Shara. Fry and hashtag fry. You know, he's putting hashtag to all those things so it can go to the world very quickly, to the group of the people, and can be seen by so many people all together. Yeah,
yes. And it also means, you know, somebody who's being put on the electric chair, electrocuted. And, you know, in some countries, people who traffic drugs are put to death. Okay?
yeah.
So there's a double meaning to that as well. So then we go to wanna to world. Okay? Means hashtag wanna die, no use, corrupted world. Okay, those are the hashtags. He's speaking of his frustration with the corrupt system in the world.
Yeah.
And you know, you just get like nowhere complaining or doing anything about it. You just fighting kind of a losing battle. So that's his frustrations right there. Then he goes on to good gas. Now, what is good gas? Any guesses?
Let me see what is happening in the chat box also, because there's somebody who is saying, okay, sorry friends, I think you all are able to hear us, you all are able to see us, because many more revolutions are going to happen from Disha Salian's picture hashtag as well.
Okay, anybody guessed what good gas is? No?
There is somebody who is saying nitrogen.
Oh, good. Yeah. So, good gas is nitrous oxide. It's an inhalant that can be found in, now, you know, people who take drugs, it's found in whipped cream dispensers, as well as other products. Okay. It is a high grade marijuana, emits strong odor that lingers in the air when it's mixed, you know. So, that's the good gas. Um, Nitrous oxide is combined with MDA, MDMA, and we know what can happen when drugs are combined and people take them and the effect that it has on their behavior and mental abilities.
Yes.
So that's what he's talking about, the mixtures that go into the drugs. and then it creates something even more potent
Yeah,
and more
more potent.
dangerous.
So MDMA is commonly called as the club drug, which is used in these nightclubs and all these parties, or party drug, ecstasy.
Yes.
And the good gas is usually even mixed with that, or the environment is being created like that, so people will be more kicked off by using such
Yes.
drugs.
And
Yeah.
people start to hallucinate and they have delusions, and they really go crazy with these mixed drugs.
Yes.
And we know these are all at rave parties, and we know Goa is like the party place that a lot of even celebrities
Yeah.
from Bollywood
Then
go
there is
there.
a term which has been used, hashtag food porn. What do you
Yeah.
think of this right now here?
Anybody any ideas what's food porn? No?
Of course, one thing is that how the things being imported or exported using all these food items.
Okay. Yeah,
But I
that
can,
could be
yeah,
one of it. And actually, it's also food porn is in Japanese, it's called inyotomori. I don't know if I pronounced it properly. Inyotomori, okay, which is body sushi, where people eat sushi from a live body, from a woman's body, okay?
like there is somebody,
Now, this is, oh, sorry?
Mayur is writing, LSD is like magic mushroom. Yeah, yeah, it is.
Exactly. You become totally spaced out, totally detached from reality.
Yeah.
Okay, so coming back to Nyatamari and the Japanese way of eating sushi of a naked woman's body, this is a provocative and sexual way of displaying, eating, and photographing food, right? But it is also a custom that is indulged by organized crime groups, such as the Japanese Yakuza. This is a crime syndicate, well known, quite dangerous, and they are fond of hosting such parties. Okay, when they celebrate anything, this is the kind of party they indulge in.
Mr. Shara, we can go slightly faster because we have many good posts ahead.
Okay,
So, yeah.
blessing to feed the poor. That's simple. Dogs to God, possibly linked to the canine coronavirus. It's a conspiracy theory that China and dogs spread corona. So pet dogs being abandoned at the time that Corona
Oh,
came into being in India.
okay.
Even Prime Minister Modi also said, please don't abandon your pets. So that could be an indication. Also, Disha and SSR loved their dogs. Okay. Viral to India. Pinto talks about viruses. Now, these are metagenomics, right? Viral world. It is actually a book and a website that you can go read about it. Also, talks about the COVID pandemic, genetic sequencing, research, etc. And he hints possibly at government manipulation, as we are seeing what's happening in the news.
So this is quite okay. So we can move to the another one.
Yeah. Okay, which one are you going to next?
I'll going to the one which is having the picture of Disha Salian.
Okay, so it says, let me see.
Just hold on, just
It
hold on.
has hashtag Disha Salian.
Wait, wait, wait. I'm going to it. I'm going.
That's the one she's wearing the sari, eh?
Yep, yep, yep.
Okay.
So this is the one that she's wearing the sari. So let us move ahead. Yep.
Okay, so Disha Salian here. Okay, Pinto is talking about Disha and Shushant, right? We know Shushant's name was Orion,
Yeah.
because he was a stargazer. He also has a farmhouse called Orion, on which he had last year paid the full rent right up till August. We know that. And let's see what else it says here.
He said they were my best friend, as
Uh,
in the
Also,
language.
coming to Orion, in Greek mythology, Orion is a hunter, and there's a good side and a bad side to him, and there are many stories about Orion.
Yeah.
And I think he's hinting at that because Orion, under the influence of alcohol, ended up raping a lady. So we
Hmm.
know what happened possibly with Disha at some
Okay.
party. Okay. And Orion also, he was blinded uh, while he was in a deep sleep. So there could be connections there. He's pointing to probably what happened to Sushant. So it's not just Orion as in the constellation. Okay. Um, moving on to my to slip. Hashtag my to slip. Pinto is talking about Disha, who was his best friend. He says that she did not have an affair and did not slip on the balcony, nor was she crying, as per the message shared by her friends with India Today on an interview. This is what they had said. Those were their exact words. Slip, crying, and those were their exact words in their statement on India Today. So it supposedly disproves Mr. Narayan Rane's statement that Disha was attacked and that there were big names involved, right? But that's just to deflect from the truth. I believe that their statements are inconsistent and not true. That's from her friends that were present. I don't actually believe she was present in that. Her death didn't occur at the flat, at that party that they're talking about.
Yeah.
Um, he also states that Disha confided to SSR, and since then, SSR was being threatened until the night of the 13th when SSR was killed. It is alleged that only Rohan, her fiance, his friends Himanshu, Neil, Deep, and Neil's girlfriend were at the party. Now, how does Steve know this? Was he there? He
Uh,
had to have been present in order to have such information, because in another post he also says that the Jira water was spiked, poisoned. So for you to have all these intimate details, you had to have been there. You had
yeah.
to have experienced it or seen it. You know, so we need to look at that. And in their statements, they said, in her friend's statement, they said that she was having financial problems and work problems. And then when the parents gave a statement, they said something else, and the police said something else. So everyone's statement is inconsistent. They say that she had a lot to drink, as in tipsy, and she started crying, as in his hashtags, but that's untrue according to him. At midnight, she also called her friend in the UK, after which she went to a room and locked herself in, and the tap was heard running. Okay. So after a while, when they called to her, and then didn't get a response, they broke down the door, unlike Pitani and company. They broke down the door and they went in. And then Himanshu and Deep saw her lying on the floor downstairs. And they ran to the watchman who had already called the police. So after that, the watchman disappeared. Okay.
Yes.
And Rohan Rai was nowhere in the picture. He never came down. I think he came down after 25 minutes or so. Okay. And
Okay.
then according to the friends, her heart was still beating and her body was dismantled, right? So there's no talk of blood spatter and how you pick up a dismantled body, etc., right? So it does not match the PM report. So they picked her up, put her into Deep's car, and went to 3 hospitals that refused her treatment. The 4th hospital pronounces her dead. Right now, these
Yeah.
people are running around with her by car.
And dear, all these things are already available on the net.
Yes,
So you have just to correlate the things here, what Steve Pinto is saying and what is available on the net, and how the investigation has went through. And of course, we all know that there was no case file which was found. They said that the case file is missing.
yes. As soon
This
as
is
the police went there, the file was deleted.
And Mr. Pinto have hashtag here that already police, Mumbai, help, please, crime branch,
Exactly.
all these things. And this post was very much after when Disha Salian died, and very truly said by Ms. Ishara that how he knew all this. Either he has to be present there, or somebody who was very close to them have informed everything. That's why
Yes.
means
He you
present
know
there means
he
present in a
requested
meeting.
the public and Republic TV to help him because he's not getting help from anybody. Neither is
Yeah,
it safe to talk to anybody. Who do you approach? If the police are corrupt, who do you approach?
yeah.
Who are you going to confide in? Nobody's going to
In
listen to
crime
you.
branch, as we know, the head of the crime branch was Mr. Vaze, and we all
Yes.
know him right now. So what was happening, how it has happened. So this is one thing.
Um, Coming to hashtag sweetheart to boyfriend, in my interpretation, I think Pinto is saying that Disha was his childhood sweetheart for 15 years because she was only dating Rohan for 6 years. So I think he's
Yep,
saying that he was her childhood sweetheart. This is why he's so attached and so hurt by her death.
yeah,
Okay, that was back in Dadar when she was schooling there, or moved there. Okay, so he says hashtag check and two hashtag please. Let's explain that. He says to check that Disha did not slip as per reports. The crime branch, Bollywood, and Mumbai police are linked, and they are close and corrupt. That's his interpretation of that. This is
exactly.
why he couldn't go to them for help. This is why he's on the run. So Marathi hashtag Marathi to best friend. Now in Malwani is a place in Malad West, Mumbai. Disha lived in that area. Her
Somebody
father
said that
has
Malwani is a beach in Mumbai. Mr.
okay.
Satyam was here on
Uh-huh.
the chat box, and he said Malwani is a beach in Mumbai, and yes, of course, a place also where Disha used to live
Yes.
once upon a time there. Yeah,
And
so
her
Ajita
father
is
had
saying here. Ajita Singh is saying here Malwani is location where her parents lived.
lived, yes.
Yeah,
Her father actually lodged a complaint of harassment and false allegations around Disha's death at Malwani police station. Okay, and in that letter, which I have a copy here, he praised the Mumbai police for all their efforts and said that he was satisfied with their investigation. And if you look at that letter, it's written very diplomatically in very like legal ways. It's not a letter with a lot of feeling in it that this is his daughter he's talking. It's very like clinical, this letter, very detached way of expressing himself. So that to me looks a bit fishy there. So
yeah.
in my opinion, this is all a cover up, and Pinto is trying to point this out. Okay,
Okay. Let's
and
go
we
to
can go to
another.
the next one.
Yeah, we go to the next one and see what is here. And this is one from which is
We can do the next Disha, which says Disha hashtag Disha.
okay.
So it can be like a follow up of that one, maybe. I don't know which one came first, actually, because some parts the dates are cut off. You know, it's hard to find these hashtags now. They're all being deleted. Have you got that one?
Yeah,
Hashtag Disha?
hashtag Disha, and this
Okay.
is hashtag Salian, Orion, all this.
Okay. Where is my one now?
Brightest star, Bollywood.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I got that. So we know hashtag Disha. We know who's Disha Salian. We know Orion. We have explained that previously as well about Orion being his farm and Orion the hunter. So in coming back to the hunter, who was the hunted and who was the hunter and who was being hunted? Coming to SSR's case, think about it.
Yep, they had to. Please apply your common sense. So, of course, we know that who have been hunted here. So the person who have been hunted is of course SSR and Disha Salian also. And please think
Okay.
of the hunter by yourself and the brightest stars. So yes, they
Yeah,
were,
he's
but
talking about them. They were the brightest stars, and they now gone to heaven, both of them.
yeah,
Okay. So, yeah, and that she was a celebrity manager. Uh, so, love, miss you, rest in peace, as he's saying. He loves her, misses her, and is expressing his emotions. As I said, I think he was her childhood sweetheart, and she was his childhood sweetheart for 15 years, because he says 15 years, Dadar boyfriend
yeah.
in that post. So, world to best friends. He says that the world and India must pray for his best friends, which is Sushant and Disha. Okay. And then he repeats, can't slip terrace, not tipsy. He's making it a point that she was not drunk as everyone is portraying her to be drunk. Okay. Just as they portray Sushant to be a drug addict. It was not an accident. Four friends were present, as he says, and we know the four friends that were there was Himanshu, Deep, Neil's girlfriend, and Rohan.
Now this is very much big revelation what is happening here. We till now know only the people. There were few peoples. There was a minister's son. We are not going to name the minister or minister's son, but
Mm.
what Miss Ishara is pointing out, four friends were there. Out of these four friends, what I think that somebody might have called Steve
In
as
the video that she's dancing on the night of her death,
yeah,
I think, yeah, in the flat, there's more than four people in that video. There's more than six people in that house. There's more people in that house sitting on the couch where it's a very darkened area. I think there's like three or four people sitting on that couch. Three were dancing with Disha and another lady. That's Neil's girlfriend, I think, that was dancing there. But
mm,
I don't think she was killed at that party, because I don't believe that she was thrown out or fell out of that building, because her injuries don't match.
yes.
Um, you know. So yeah, as he says, can't to accident. So that did not happen. Then he says, from four friends to maladjusted. Okay, so four friends, as we know who were there. And then he says boyfriend maladjusted. Now I've read somewhere that actually Rohan was abusive towards Disha. They were always having problems, and some other stuff was going on with them. So we need to look more into that. So possibly there was some domestic um, violence going on there.
Yes.
Okay, so that's the end of that one.
So I'm
Uh,
opening another one, and we need to be very careful while we are revealing any of these things.
yeah, and I
There
mean,
is
all these
one
things
post.
are in public domain. We are just telling what's in the public domain, and what we cannot explain, you have to use your imagination and your common sense to put it together. Obviously, we
Now this is
cannot
another
say
one.
everything.
This is
Uh,
another thing which is about Gopal Dalvi and
okay,
hashtag young hashtag leaders.
okay, so we're doing Gopal Dalvi now.
Yeah.
Okay, let's Gopal Dalvi. Gopal Dalvi, and the next one is very interesting. It's not that one. I just have to find it on my phone.
Are you
Sorry.
not able to see it on the screen because I shared it with you as well?
No, I can't see that. I can't see that.
Okay.
Sorry. Okay, so we go to Gopal Dalvi. Here we are. Okay, so Gopal Dalvi. Okay, we know that, we may or may not know that Gopal Dalvi um, is a film producer. Okay, he made the movies Up Tak Chapan and Up Tak Chapan 2. Okay,
Yes.
this is
Yes.
based on the encounter specialist Dayan Nayak. I think he killed like 83 people, I think. In 2012, he partnered with Mr. Jitendra Jain, okay, to buy the Deccan Chargers. That was a cricket team. Some of you may know the Deccan Chargers. And
Mm.
later went on, he's part of the Alhambra Entertainment production house. Okay. And Gopal Dalvi's father is Shivam Dalvi, who is a director in property company. Okay. Remember previously I've said that in organized crime, tourism, construction, real estate is all part of organized crime. So what Steve is hinting to, we can all maybe understand what he's saying. And Gopal Dalvi is also part of, I think, the NCP. Yeah. Okay. So going to young, hashtag young to humble. Yeah, he's talking about young leaders are needed as politicians. Okay. He says that the elders have to step back. People like Pavar and all must step back. And the young leaders that he's referring to are Aditya Thackeray, Shiv Sena, that is, and also Ms. Pankaj Munde from the BJP, Mr. Sujay Vikhya Patil from the BJP,
We can skip
Mr.
the names here because it's a public domain. I think people knows very much.
Okay, but it's in the public domain. It was an expose done on young leaders. So these
Okay,
are the young leaders that he's talking about, that they should be taking over, that politics needs new blood, done with the old people running the parties. So NCP to mastermind, NCP party, according to this post, he's showing that they are the masterminds of all the crimes possibly occurring in India. That's his interpretation of that.
it is his opinion what
Yeah, his
you want to
opinion
say is.
that's being
Yeah,
stated here. That's
yeah.
according to his hashtags. Yeah. Let's go on. Okay. Now this DB Marg. DB Marg is important for many, many reasons. Okay, let's read this. This refers to a police station, DB Marg. Okay, right, which is in the vicinity of Lamington Road. In many of his posts, he refers to Lamington Road, Grant Road Station, etc., right, and DB March. And it is important for many reasons. So, some of them are uh,
We can give them an idea. We can give them an idea right now.
yeah. Now,
And
this goes back to 2611, okay? The station that responded to the bombings was DB March Station, okay? There was an officer called Hassan Ghafoor. This is all in public domain. This is not my own interpretation. With the Mumbai police, he was a commissioner during 2008 and the ATS squad chief. Additional Commissioner of Police Ashok Kamte, Police Inspector and Encounter Special Vijay Salaskar, and Assistant Sub Inspector Tukaram Umble, they lost their lives during 2611. Okay, and at that time also on the ground. Now we have the ex-police commissioner who was on the ground at that time. We know who we're talking about.
yeah,
Okay. Uh, Apparently, he had refused to be on ground and take on the terrorists. So a petition was filed for dereliction of duty, which is out there in the public domain. And they filed this against Kafur for defamation. In 2010, this ex-commissioner's father filed also a defamation case against Officer Ghafoor, which was stayed by the Bombay High Court. During this time, we know Vazir was under suspension, and his boss, Pradeep Sharma, had joined the Shiv Sena during all this time. Okay, so piece it together and see what you get. So Opera House bombing, many people were killed, right? And this happened in the Dadar area, the Parsi area. Okay, and diamond and gold merchants were concentrated in that area. So was that a setup for a heist or what? Right? I don't know. Uh, so a lot of diamonds and gold went flying in the air. I'm not sure if all was recovered or what happened to it. I cannot find what happened to it. Some of it was recovered. And recently there was somebody who said he likes gold biscuits. So, um, okay. And also, recently, Mr. Deshmukh also wanted to reward 8 officers that were involved during the 2611. One of them was Patel, I think, who was now caught with Vaze.
Yep.
Remember? He went to Vaze's office.
Yeah.
So he was one of the officers that was being rewarded. And this has caused a lot of other officers to be disgruntled because they feel they were also present during 2611 and they have been sidelined. Okay, so DB Marg also refers to an Instagram post, which is quite extensive. You know, the one that I sent to you with the pictures.
Yep.
And that all indicates things, illicit activities carrying on in Goa. But I cannot go into all those because that's quite sensitive. I don't want to jeopardize the investigations
And there is
in
one
that
more thing
post.
related to DB Mark, which Ms. Ishara will not say, even I will not say here, is something related to the smuggling of drugs, which we need to find out on
Yes.
our own. Yeah.
Yeah, just do some investigations. You'll find out what I'm talking about. I cannot put it out here right now. And it's all also happening in Panjim and Panaji, Goa.
Yeah.
Okay, and along the Mandovi River. So I've given you all some clues to go look at. Then we go to producer to weight loss journey. Okay, hashtag producer to weight loss journey. Now, Malvan is a place in Sindhudurg. Sindhudurg. There's also a film city there, I believe, called the Sai Film City.
Yep.
Okay. Best friend, I think he's referring to Arjun Kapoor, who's also an ex Boscoit. Boscoit was the school that all these famous people went to.
Yeah.
It's a nickname for all those people who went to Don Bosco. Weight loss journey, his journey has been documented. That is Arjun Kapoor. I think that's who he's referring to. And other notable Boscoites, others have alluded to, are Steve Pinto, Akshay Kumar, Kirsi Chowda, and Mahesh Bhatt. Okay.
Okay.
And this hashtag Prajak T. Sule, she's on Instagram, and I don't have Instagram, so I couldn't open up the Instagram what her posts were.
Yeah. Prajakta Sule.
Yeah,
Okay.
but the Sules are related to Sharad Pawar.
Okay.
Okay. New hashtag new to COVID-19. I think he's talking about young blood taking over, no more corruption. Also, weight loss journey is mentioned there. Is a website. Now, it doesn't just say weight loss journey, it says shout out. That is a website that documents people's weight loss journeys, and I don't have that Instagram thing as well. So I can't see all the people who are there because they have their pictures there and probably celebrities also on that thing. So whoever can go and check that out, it's a website. No bribe, thank you, COVID. So he's actually thanking COVID. Why is he thanking COVID? Because during COVID, when Sushant was killed, people had time to indulge in investigating this. Otherwise, it would have just been swept under the rug, under the rug as another suicide. People would have been too busy with their careers and with work, and it would have just went under the rug, just as Parveen
Yeah.
Babi and Jia Khan and everybody, they wouldn't have thought about it. So he's thanking COVID because though COVID gave us the time to actually concentrate on this.
And that's why people were sitting at home and doing all these investigations
Yes,
and coming up with the new
exactly.
thing.
And all the YouTubers and everybody got active, and the momentum was gained to bring this out into the open. So
Yeah.
that was a good thing, and I think that's why he's thanking everybody
Do
for
you
that.
think he is still alive? Because I think this post was
Definitely.
I think this post was after 3 months, after 3 or 4 months of this,
Okay.
maybe after 3 months.
Yeah, I
It's not
believe
bad.
he's just lying low because he's scared. Right now, I'd be scared to trust anybody, to trust the police, to trust anybody, because this thing is so full of everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't know who to turn to. So that was Gopal Dalvi.
So let's go to another one. The last one, I think.
Which one is that?
There is one from April 24th, which is written here. I think you just send me. This has happened. I think, yeah, we have covered most of them.
Mhm.
Yeah, we covered a.
Okay. So we
So
did
there was-
Barbie. We did. Oh, we didn't do the. Uh,
we did
oh no,
all.
no, we did that. We did all of them. Yeah, we couldn't expand much on the other ones,
These are all
unfortunately.
just a takeaway from here. What I would like to say as a forensic expert that these are some of the either if you want to call them as speculations, yes, you can call them as speculations, but these speculations are pertaining to a certain thing which have been mentioned by somebody who was very close to SSR, who was very close to Disha Salian. So that's why we need to believe on these things, and the way they have been postulated, the way they have been published with the hashtags and one after the other in a sequential manner. So they say a lot about all these things. We are not blaming, we are not claiming anything here, we are not blaming anybody here from any party or these are the things because I as a forensic science expert and Miss Ishara as a criminologist, we do have the duties to take out, the things out
The
of something which
truth,
is
yes.
yeah, and to share it with the world. It may be true, it may not be true. You know what we are saying and what we need to say here in the open platform. Yes, but something is very clear, which we have revealed so many times, Ms. Shara and myself and Dr. Rajiv Chaya also, that yes, there were certain injuries on Sushant's body, which have no answer yet. The time of death have no answer yet. What about the stomach content? As Ms. Ishara have clearly said that there was no stomach content and why it was so. So this is another thing. Then about the Disha Salian, what even I think till now, what I think, it is only my opinion. I'm not uh, giving this opinion on to you to believe. My opinion is that she never fell down from 13th floor or whatever. She have been killed or whatever happened to her somewhere else, and then
Was dumped
yeah,
at that site,
yeah, yeah.
yes.
She was just dumped. She was drove into a car and then dumped off at that site
Yeah.
because the
Well,
injury, the postmortem report, which I got the postmortem report
uh
to review, it never says such type of injuries which will happen to a person who will fell down from a 13th floor, even from third or fourth floor. If a person will fell down, definitely
yes.
the femur and all the bones are going to struck inside, and the ribs will be broken. Yes, multiple injuries can be there, and there were multiple injuries. And what I doubt also that she was not dead when she fell down, as told by the onlookers. The viewers were there who gave the.
Yes.
I don't remember still on which channel, on which news channel it was there, but
Mm-hmm.
there were some people who have given this witnessing that
Even
she
her
was.
friend said that her heart was still beating.
Yeah. So if somebody will fell down from 13th floor, there are no chances that he or
They will
she will
survive.
be
Yeah.
yeah they will survive like this because all the bones if you will we do in forensic we do a lot of dummy tests and you know how, as you see the car crash test, it happens that where will be the injury. So it happens likewise when the person will fall down from the uh, 13th or 14th floor. What will be the condition of the body? Yes, Mr.
I,
Shara, you
I,
want
I've,
to?
I've just thought of something like, with Divya Bharti as well. She fell from the building as well.
Yeah.
Okay, and on that day there were no cars parked at the bottom. Disha, they say she fell from the top. There was no cars parked at the bottom. So had there been cars, she could have probably survived. She would have landed on a car. So how is it that there was no cars parked there? There are garages at the bottom there. There were no cars there. There were no cars in Divya Bharti's death as well. So it makes you wonder, why was the car park so deserted?
Yeah.
I don't know. And the lack of blood and the way her body was positioned, and the area that it fell so far away from where it should have landed if had she fallen from the 14th floor. These are all very questionable.
I
And
don't know if somebody is asking, Miss Rajni Rathore is asking about alive theory. We don't know whether she is asking about the alive theory of Sushant or Steve
I
Pinto.
don't
So
believe in that theory that Sushant is alive. Look, the person has passed on, and that's it. I mean, people who are making stories about him being alive and all that, I think is really insensitive to the family and disrespectful towards him.
yeah,
He's gone, he suffered, and he died, and we need to accept that, and we need to move on from there and get justice done for all these young people that have fallen victim to
and
this.
Mr. Bridge is saying yes. Why CBI is not investigating Disha's murder? Whether is CBI or not? If not, then why? Then what I think that if it will be linked because the case was filed against uh, say the by the family of SSR, and if this
Yes,
case is very well linked to Disha, automatically CBI has to
it will
investigate
solve her
that as well.
case. Yes,
Yeah, it
definitely,
will solve
definitely.
her case as
And
well.
at the
So
moment, if you looked at her parents when they gave their interviews, they're not comfortable in the way they're talking. You look at their body language, they're scared. Why are they scared? Ask yourself that. Why? I mean, which parent will not want to investigate what happened to their child?
they are simply scared of
We know,
at that time. Maybe they may come up, maybe in near future, or
but I
I don't know.
think, SSR's case will actually solve that, Disha, her case. So they don't have to actually go and, legally do all the legal bits of it. But his case will blow everything open.
But one
So
thing is very clear. I would like to thank you, Miss Ishara, and all the people out there, the YouTubers, whether in one way or the other, they have
they're
keep
all contributing. Yes,
they all kept this case alive till date. So
exactly.
otherwise there would not have been any direction to this case till now, and it would have been dumped off somewhere.
Yes,
And how, whether it is Sushant's soul or whether God's grace, how it is working everything in a way that Sachin was a is behind the prison or is going to be behind the prison right now. Say even the ex say police commissioner is in the question right now, and and we know that Republic TV, yes, whether for good or for bad, but Republic TV has raised the voice very loudly at that time, and we must be thankful to Arnab Goswami and Republic TV team. Also, I'm not promoting any television right now here. Even Times Now
mm-hmm.
was here who was doing all these things. So yes, they have kept the case alive by giving us new theories also, and of course, the person who has circulated the video, who has circulated the first video and the pictures, whether for good or for bad, again, but we are very thankful to him as well. We do not
Yes,
know who was he and for what purpose he has done. I still believe that he has circulated all these videos for bad purpose to show that how Sushant have committed suicide, but how the case has now opened into in another way, and we
yes,
are still waiting for CBI to come up with some fruitful thing. Yes, Mr. Shara, you want
yes. I don't think they anticipated when they planned this murder that it would go to this extent, that the whole world would wake up and see that this was, inconsistent, that there was something terribly wrong here. And, solving SSR's case. will actually solve all these other murders and so-called suicides in Bollywood. So they all linked, and we know that they all linked. So the police will have to reinvestigate, in my opinion, all these cases. They are not just
Yes,
shut and dried. You cannot forget them, because now we know the truth of what has been happening. And SSR, we have, he died a very torturous death, but he was elevated to the level of a martyr. He has set things right for the rest of our lives. He's become a hero, an icon, and that's the way we need to remember him. Um, you
yes,
know, he's done a good lot of work for our
very
future generations.
very true. And whether it is a case, it was a case of extortion. Even we can believe that also right now. There
Yes,
can be the element of extortion with Sushant as well. Now, what is opening up, and so many cases are being opened up. So this could have been one of the reason. And how this is happening automatically, we should be thankful to all the people and the God, of course. And we have the people from all over India we will be watching us. We that are watching us live, say live right now from Europe, from US, and from UK also. And thank you all very much. And if you have any questions, you can just say put on in the comments. And again, I would like to say as a disclaimer that we have not blamed anybody. These were his hashtags which the criminologist Miss Ishara and I, as a forensic expert, try to decode it, uh, something what he has encoded and what he want to say to the population at that time, the world at that time, because he knew that this case will go, say, will be dumped off, say otherwise. So he has tried his
to
best
bring
on
it
his part.
out in the open. Yes, definitely, definitely. And he's a very clever young man, and we must be thankful to him that he
We
did
must be
this.
thankful to him as well, whether he is alive or whether he is not. We believe that he is alive and he should be safe anywhere. And I would like to thank you all. I would like to thank Ms. Ishara to you. And on the ending note, please be aware, please take care. The COVID-19 is very big problem right now. We all are
Yes,
facing, we all are receiving so many messages on our WhatsApp that every morning, every afternoon, that the so-called person has died due to COVID. And don't pay attention to any of the rumors about the vaccine or anything. Please try to safeguard yourself, try to save yourself, wear mask as the regulatory has been given by the government. And if you have any further question, you can just write down in the comment box. I think the video is going very longer right now. And you don't know whether this video will be there on the YouTube or not after some time.
and we'll
So
do more exposes as we go along. I mean, these were just a few, and a lot has been done by other YouTubers as well. They all seem to be on the right track, and every little bit counts to solving this issue, this case. And we all need to take care over COVID. Whatever you can do to stay safe with your families. Stay away from crowded places. Wear your mask. Follow all the directions, and don't be scared. Remain calm. Please stay calm. Don't panic, because when you panic, you start to get sick.
yeah,
Psychologically, it takes an effect on you. So stay
and our
strong
immunity
minded.
goes much down. Yeah, our immunity is compromised when we are in stress. So please
Exactly.
don't get panicked. And there are people, there are millions of people who are fighting with COVID and surviving very well. So
Yes.
don't think in that way, because the mortality rate, the death rate is still very low when you count as per the cases what we are receiving every day.
Yeah.
So
And unfortunately, a lot of people will die, unfortunately, until it comes under control. But don't lose hope and don't lose faith. Things will get better. It will definitely settle down. And I want to thank all the viewers for all the wonderful response that we received on the previous What Happened at Shushan's House episode. It was really great. And I thank you all for the comments that you have posted. And without you all, we all cannot solve this
yes, yes,
if it
of course.
wasn't for you
The
all.
viewers, the viewers, the people of the world, rather I would like to say, whether they are supporting the things on the Twitter or wherever, the case is still alive, and every big person have noticed it, whether it is Subramaniam Swami or whosoever. At least they have raised their voice to the right point.
Yes.
And then the another thing, that whether it will be solved in a right way or not, that completely depends upon, so many things which we are aware of.
Yes.
But one thing is very much clear, that yes, it was not a simple case of suicide. It was never a case of suicide, a simple case of suicide, as have been mentioned. And if it
Yes.
is so, then also it has a story behind it, a great story behind it, which needs to be solved.
Yes.
And Mr.
And
Shara, yeah,
society's voice is what will bring around change. And this is what India needs, and this is what the world needs. You need to stand up and say something. Every voice counts, and corruption needs to be rooted out. So, we can all live peacefully and unafraid. We should never live in fear of crimes
Mr.
and
Shara
criminal
ji,
syndicates and stuff like that.
Mr. Shara, people are asking whether you are on Twitter so they can join you, they can
Oh
follow you.
no, I don't have no social media. I stay away from those. It's just another hassle dealing with social media, unfortunately. But you guys can see me here on Dr. Bopesh's channel. You can write to
And I would
him,
like
and
to,
we talk
and I
on
would like
here.
to thank you from the bottom of my heart, the way you have accepted my invitation to come over, because there was much demand to decode all these hashtags.
Yeah, and we
Though,
still got a lot more to go. There are
yeah,
some other important ones which we'll do as we go along. There's no hurry. And yeah, we'll take it one step at a time. Also, we're going to be talking, I think, about Disha Salian, seeing that she is linked, although her parents have said, there's no investigation, don't talk about it. But it is inextricably linked to Sushant's case. There's no way that you cannot talk about Disha's case when you talk about Sushant's case. It is linked, and unfortunately, we have to talk about it in order to get the true justice that the both deserve and all the other people.
okay, thank you, Mr.
So,
Shara, and thank you all the viewers. And we'll come back again with some great news for you, with some great revelation. And thank you once again.
thank you, everybody. Have a great week ahead. Stay safe, stay healthy.
Thank you.
Goodbye.